Gee Willikers, what a long freaking day yesterday was. Used that machine to clear all this out and hand tamped and filled in all the way around the outside except in a couple particular spots. So that's looking really good. I did all that so that today I could immediately start on working on the sill plate and start installing panels pretty soon. But concrete has to have about 28 days to cure fully, and I only recently put this core fill in, which is what I'm going to be putting all my Titan HD hold down screws into. I only put that down about 10 days ago, so we are going to push off that until the time is right, and in the meantime, let's go make some wall panels. Hey there! What's up? How's it going? I forget where I left off with the episodes. Last episode, I think I was under the impression that I was going to do my sill plate and start installing floor panels. That is not the case because I need to let that concrete in the center block wall cure for 28 days to get its full strength so that my Titan HDs don't just break the concrete out. So back to the shop we are, and I've got all of my standard wall panels built. I've got about 25 standard panels. Very simple design for the standard panels. I'm doing 10-foot tall panels. And so at this point, I've got 26 panels left to make. Some of those are headers and sills. Some of them are beam catchers. Some of them are corner panels. Kind of just depends on the engineering for what panels go into what project. I would like to share a little bit with you of just kind of the different varieties of panels and kind of what a finished wall eventually looks like. So lots of pictures. Really, so far this week, this is the first week of October, starting to go into the second week of October here. We got a load of straw bales on, I guess that was yesterday. And before, during, and after that, we were just making standard wall panels. My goodness, am I just happy to be alive. I feel so lucky to be able to take some engineer drawings and figure out what needs to go where and then build these panels for my own house. This is so fun. I like this. I like this a lot. We're trying some new things out with these panels. Nice little window panel right here. We got the box column, the single straw bale chute. I got all my standard panels over here. I mean, I'm getting really close to done. I've got about 10 more panels to make, which are the triangle gable end ones. So I'm going to have some fun with those over the next today and tomorrow. And then we finna start moving these babies to the site. It's all coming together splendidly. I do want to sit down in the office here in a minute and talk to you about just the different ways of detailing these kind of walls. I love straw bale buildings and straw bale panel buildings for many reasons. First and foremost, it's this beautiful form of natural building. We're using straw that came from farmer just about 45 minutes away. Really enjoy that. They're so thick. So thick. Look at these deep windowsills. We've got R35 at the least. I'm hearing some numbers of like R40, R45 for plastered on both side kind of panels. So really impressive insulation value. Building with straw bale panels really sets the stage for some excellent detailing. This is not just natural building that what I'm doing here, but we're mixing in a lot of building science, a lot of thinking about exactly how all the air dynamics play out, how all the thermal dynamics play out, how do I manage moisture and humidity in these walls and around it. It's a lot of different ways to do that. So let's go to the office real quick and dive into exactly how I'm going to finish different parts of this house. And welcome back to my little triangle shaped office up here in this house. So I want to jump into what kind of house wraps I'm using and air detailing and why. So before we get into the wrap guide, I want to kind of explain real quick what I'm doing here and why I'm so excited about building this house and building other houses with very similar dynamics. So I've got two different kind of things going here. We've got natural building and we've got building science. Natural building is very important to me because it's using local materials, it's carbon sequestering. So there's kind of two different types of energy that goes into building a house. There's the embodied energy, that's how much energy has been used to create this house. And then the maintenance energy is how high performing is this house, how good is the insulation, how good is the air detailing, and how much energy does it consume month to month once it's built. And so with embodied energy, materials like concrete, steel, fiberglass, spray foam, these all have a heavy environmental toll. They literally, most of those have require fire and huge smelting processes to create these. Like fiberglass is literally like fire cotton candy. Concrete takes an enormous amount of heat to heat up and do the chemical process, and obviously steel needs to be smelted, so that's a lot of energy that goes in all those. And so really trying to emphasize, I mean, obviously I use concrete for the footer and the block wall, but from here on out, I really want to try to emphasize using wood and natural materials. And I want to try to preserve these materials as long as possible. I want this house to last forever. And so to properly protect my beautiful straw bales and the wood, that this house is structurally made out of, I need to properly detail it to do that. And I'm going to be using a whole bunch of 475's product line. We've got Adhero, Intello, Stego, and a couple other different kind of tapes. And I'm super excited to use these and talk more about them as I use them. So stay tuned for why these are important throughout the whole building process. And as you can see right now, there is so much thinking that has to go into some proper building science stuff, because I need to remember where these weather barriers are. So since I have a sealed crawl space, I need to think about how I'm getting that weather barrier to be exposed and open so I can tie into it later and it's properly wrapping around the things that I want. So really trying to emphasize some of these building science dynamics, such as airtightness. I'm going to be using a rain screen and a sealed crawl space. So you might ask, like, oh, but these products are made out of plastic and that's not natural building. Well, you got to protect this house from water, pests, and stuff like that. And especially if it's very airtight, that saves so much energy on the maintenance of the house long term. I really want to have a super, super low electrical bill because it's airtight and the fresh air that's coming in and out is reconditioned to meet the humidity and the temperature of the inside air. So let's jump into this wrap guide. So I'll have a rain screen on both the short sides and a little ways coming in to the long sides. And this rain screen is going to be covered in Adhero 3000. And this isn't just a plastic wrap. You cannot use plastic wrap when using straw bales. Straw bales are natural material. They got to breathe, similar to wood. If you put a piece of wood or cellulose or a straw bale inside a plastic bag, it's gonna anaerobically decompose if there's any moisture in there. And so I want these bales to breathe. And so Adhero 3000 has an ideal perm rating. And so perm rating means that humidity can go in and out as it pleases to dry out the bales. And that's why these products from 475 are so valuable to natural builders, because it really gives natural builders the opportunity and the tools and the materials to make a natural build house very, very high performing, because natural buildings tend to have an insane amount of insulation. And so I kind of like to use this little analogy here that someone once told me. So let's imagine we've got this huge igloo made out of like giant things of styrofoam. So you stack all these like square styrofoam blocks up in an igloo, and then you step inside, and it's the middle of the winter. The wind is blowing through all the cracks in, in your cube igloo thing. Is that gonna be warm? It's like, we got an insane amount of insulation here. Like, why is it cold in here? Well, because it's leaking like a sieve. The outdoor and indoor temperature is just poof, intermixing, because there's no air sealing detail. Now, imagine spray foaming all those cracks shut so that the temperature exchange is forced to go through your insulation. And that is one of the key components here of why these products like Adhero 3000 are super, super important, because it provides me a humidity breathable barrier that is a weather barrier that I can tie into. I'm going to have plywood siding where I need shear value. I'm going to have Adhero 3000 wrapped on top of that plywood. I'm going to connect that with Adhero 3000 again for the roof. And then that's going to sneak around my floor panels and meet up and be taped to Stego. Stego is just straight plastic, and that's going to give me my sealed crawl space, which I'm very excited for. I've also got Intello on the ceiling, my roof panels, and kind of going a little crazy here with having both the weather barrier on the outside or air barrier on the outside and inside. I'm just doubling it up. We're going boots and suspenders on this one, or buttons and suspenders, belt and suspenders on this one, because in my head, especially with this igloo thing, it's like I kind of want air seal on both sides of the insulation, so that, man, that weather just has no other option but to go through my R35 plus, insulation value. So super duper excited to detail this house as it becomes relevant. These different kind of tapes that I have. This one is Contiga Solido IQ. This is a fuzzy fleece lined vapor open tape that does a really good job at connecting some other surface to plaster. This fuzzy surface right here is plasterable, and you can take your clay or lime plaster and seal it right up next to this. This is for interior and exterior use. I've also got some Husqvarna, I'm sorry, Tescon Vanna tape. This is for the Adhero 3000 seams, and pretty versatile, really. I bought a bunch of this for a lot of different connections there. I've also got this Campego, and Campego will help seal the Stego all together. So got these wonderful products right here that I'm excited to use, and already been using a little bit of Adhero because building science makes you think, where's this air barrier? Where is it important? And how's it going to sit in the house? And right before you do, right before I'm putting my sill plate down or my floor panels down, I got to think, okay, this part needs Adhero right now, or this part needs that or this. So excited to sequence everything properly and get this as super airtight as possible. So this week I will be installing the floor panels. So next video should be a little bit more install oriented. So get ready for that and have a beautiful rest of your day. I'll talk to y'all soon.